This is Chelsea from digitalartteacher.com. This will be the last video in my Photoshop versus Photopea series. And this last one is split, so you'll find how to cut out a background in Photoshop in the previous video. And this one is how to cut out a background in Photopea. Before we begin, I want to say that I did go through this whole process with two very large images, and it was extremely slow and very painful. So if you find that you're not able to get through it, then try exiting the page and then making your images smaller, and then open Photopea again with your smaller images. This could make a world of difference and possibly save your sanity. All right, let's jump in. So with your background picture already in place, drag your subject picture into the page. Holding down Shift, increase the size. And you can't see my picture because it pulled it into the background, but I can fix that now. Now you can see some pixelation, which is unfortunate, but it sure is moving a lot faster than it was when I had my full-size images. Grabbing the quick selection tool, I'll select my subject. And I can leave this because I will be adding that circle around it. If it grabs way too much, just undo, and we can fix this in the mask later. Click on Refine Edge. May take a second for it to come up. Once it does, zoom in. Photopea does some smart selection, so if I were to brush around the head, it'll actually take off too much. If you look over here, it adds too much around the background, and it also takes out a lot inside the little boy's head. So we're actually just going to quit here and go to Selection and OK. This will give you a selection around your subject, and if I select the mask, then it will mask what I've wanted to mask. And if you zoom in, you can see where I did that extra brushing, and it just doesn't work very well. So now I'll need to go to my mask and select my brush tool. I need to make sure that I have black and white selected here. My mask is black, so when I brush with white, I'll be adding the subject in. And when I brush with black, I can press X to quickly change it. Then I'll be subtracting the subject or adding to the mask. Do any of the extra fixing that you need to do before we move on to the next step. Make your brush a little softer so that that transition isn't quite so harsh. And just like in Photoshop, you can right-click to change the brush settings. Once you've got that finished, select the Move tool and move your subject into a more comfortable place. Resize if you need to. And remember, in Photopea, you need to hold down Shift. I'm going to go back to my brush tool and add in the water. And in order to add a layer mask, you go to Layer and New Adjustment Layer, and again, Color Balance. To make it so that the color balance layer only affects the layer below, we're going to hold down Shift again, and we're going to click on the color balance layer. That makes it so that everything we do only affects the subject layer. Now switch to your mask, and since my mask is white, I'm going to grab my paintbrush and brush with black. And of course, any touch-up that needs to be done, you switch with your X key to the white color and brush around the edges. Remember, the larger your brush is and the softer your brush is, the softer the edge will be. Alright, that concludes our cutout background tutorial for Photopea and Photoshop. And this is the last of the Photopea Photoshop videos that I'll be creating. And if you'd like the files used in this video, you can just click in the description and find out more. I hope these were helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next series.